Hey everybody, what is going on? Hexlex here, got another Master Duel video for you, and it's Monday, which of course, as always, means that it is time for another one of our weekly viewer specials. I think a lot of you know the drill by now, but in case you don't, here's how we do it. Once a week here on the channel on Mondays, we take a look at your replays so that we can see your awesome games. It's a good way to cheer each other on, kind of come together as a community, and also showcase some decks that I don't normally play as often on the channel here. If you're interested in submitting for the viewer special, then all you need to do is go down to the description below. There you're going to find an invite link to our Discord server, the Hexlexplex, and once you're there, under the Master Duel section, there is a viewer special submission channel. There you're going to want to drop your 9-digit player ID, that way I'm able to see your publicly saved replays. Please do make sure this number is entered correctly, and that your replays are set to public, that way I am able to view them. And yeah, that's pretty much the gist of it. If you've 15 different replays, if you've got a bunch of different ones, you can submit as many different ones as you like. The only thing I ask that you don't do is submit the same one over and over again. And we do this every single week, so even if you didn't get in this week, there is always the next one. But yeah, I think that's going to just about cover this opening spiel. Let's go ahead and get into some of your games. Okay, our first game comes to us from Flat Toast, aka Fish, over on the Discord server. So, we're going to be watching a game with Branded, as Branded is a deck that I don't really get to cover that often, mostly because I don't really feel like I know this deck that well. And it's definitely one of those decks that really wants you to, like, solo it, right? Like, you really get highly rewarded for, you know, maining Branded and having it be your pet deck, right? And I just like bouncing between different decks too much to really focus on a deck that the level of attention I think Branded needs to really get good at it. But very cool deck, obviously very good deck, especially right now. I would definitely consider this deck tier 1. So let's see, our opponent is going to be on Blue Eyes with the Buster Blader package. That of course offers some, you know, kind of floodgatey type options if they have like the Buster Dragon and the Buster Blader out. You know, of course, all of your monsters will be dragons, and then because everything's dragons, everything will be in defense mode, and you'll be able to activate your monster's effects. So, I've actually run into this variant on ladder myself before. But yeah, let's go ahead and check this out. Going second duel, so we'll probably have to end up playing through a bit of a board here. So one of the things that makes Branded, you know, pretty skill testing is that you're often on 60 cards and you play a lot more board breaker stuff than you do hand traps a lot of the time. So yeah, you got to be experienced on playing through an established board. Wow, so they're going immediately for the Piri-Reese map and then the Primite Roar as well. Wow, going down to 2k right off the bat. In order to special the Blue Eyes from deck, as well as add that Sage. Sage is, of course, going to get Maiden, which will set up the True Light. This is all pretty standard stuff for Blue Eyes so far, except kind of for the Primite Roar. You don't really see that in Blue Eyes too often, because they have their own, whatever the spell is that summons from deck. Here we're seeing some of the natural synergy, though, between the Blue Eyes and Buster Blader engines, as Buster Whelp is a level 1 light dragon tuner. It can be added off of the Wishes, as we saw. What's just a level 1 light tuner, not dragon specifically, but now equipping vanilla Blue Eyes Ultimate is a bit of a choice here. I'm not sure if maybe there's a Buster Blader card that wants you to have, you know, the vanilla Blue Eyes Ultimate, but if it's just for stats, you could use the Neo Ultimate as well. Alright, Spirits Dragon number 1 coming down. Now they're able to synchro for a 12 here as well. Unless they're just going to go for a 9 anyway. Oh no, they're going for the Ultimate Spirit Dragon. And then syncing for 12. This is Crimson. Okay, yep. And then they are going to make the Saphir. Crimson Dragon's win rate on appearance is 80%. That's kind of wild. I didn't think it would be that high. I don't feel like I lose 80% of the time I see Crimson Dragon, but anyway, here's Saphir, here's Ultimate Spirit Dragon, dumping the Chaos Max off of the Neo Kaiser there. Now Maiden and Mausoleum both get to activate. This, of course, will revive the Blue Eyes again, setting up for their level 9 Synchro, and the Mausoleum is going to dump yet another Blue Eyes from the deck to the graveyard. Looks like our opponent's next level 9 is going to be yet another Blue Eyes Ultimate Spirit Dragon and Ultimate Fusion coming down, fusing the Blue Eyes Ultimate and the Chaos Max Dragon for Dragon Master Magia. Ah, okay, so that's why they have specifically Blue Eyes Ultimate and not the Neo Blue Eyes Ultimate. That makes sense. Okay. Sifir protects the Ultimate Spirit Dragon from being destroyed, and now we're going into our turn. Okay, so we're beginning with the Branded Lost. They're going to immediately fire off the Prologue of the Destruction Swordsman and Destruction Sword Memories. Wait, is this 2 fusion summons? Or is this the fusion and then the Buster Blader Dragon? Yeah, the Buster Dragon. Okay. So the totality of what we're dealing with here is an Omni Negate, the ability to threaten to go into another Omni Negate if they're playing with their Ultimate Spirit. I couldn't remember from the profile, but Sifir, which of course is a monster negate as well as destruction protection. Dragon Master Magia has 1 negate for each type of card, monster, spell, trap. The Buster Blader, because all of our stuff is treated as dragons, is also going to switch everything to defense mode, and we cannot activate their effects. So, very interested to see how we are going to break this. Leading off with the Branded Fusion, they're going to chain the Buster Dragon F. We are chaining Branded and High Spirits, and they're going to fire off their trap card, which says their stuff cannot be destroyed by card effects this turn. Brandon High Spirits revealing the Cartesia, dumping Granganol in order to fetch an Albaz. Buster Dragon F going to equip the Whelp. And then we're sending Albaz and Sarnir from deck in order to fusion summon Titaniclad. Of course, the Titaniclad is going to be unaffected. But the thing is, it's only unaffected by activated effects, right? Yes, and yeah, the Buster Blader effect is not activated, it is continuous. Majesty here is pretty interesting. Are they going to try to pop the Branded Lost? Because they're not going to be able to pop the Titaniclad. Unless they think they can. They might think they're able to. Yeah, okay. They can. Wow. Okay, never mind. Oh, it's only monster special summon from extra deck. It's not a total towers. Right, of course. Yeah. Okay, Crimson Dragon summoning another 12. Is that going to be Blazar? Or another Ultimate Spirit? Oh, it's Red Supernova. I guess that works too. To banish our field. Wow, I can't believe we're going to play through this. Oh, well that would do it. How can I forget? Of course. The classic maneuver, setting Albaz in order to go for Alba Lanatus. Because Alba Lanatus can be summoned by its own effect. We don't have to use Albaz's effect. And the materials are Albaz plus 1 or more dragon monsters. So, yeah, that would definitely do it, wouldn't it? Now, the Buster Blader is still going to turn all of our dragons to defense mode, but... And would say we can't activate their effects, but now we can use plenty of other things too. They get to bring back an Ultimate Spirit Dragon, and unfortunately that will negate our Granganol here. But we can still go for Springen's Kit F, going to add Branded in white, and then put back our Cartesia. Branded in white's going to let us fusion summon, banishing Albaz and Titaniclad in order to go for the Mirror Jade. And the Mirror Jade is thankfully a worm, not a dragon, meaning it is not affected by the effect of Buster Blader, and we can just go ahead and banish it. So there we go. We weren't able to, of course, OTK them or anything, but still able to establish a massive comeback given what our opponent's board state looked like. Yeah, that set Albaz into Alba Lanatus. I've only been hit with that like 1 or 2 times in my life, but it's a nasty maneuver. And between Blue Eyes and Bestial stuff, there's definitely enough dragons running around right now to justify playing it in Branded, I think. Alright, going into their turn, they're going to set Wishes off the True Light, Spirit Dragon negating the Rindbrum in our graveyard. Wishes F activating here, dumping the Secret Rumble that was added for another Ultimate Fusion. As well as Sage with Eyes of Blue. Alright, now Wishes is going to equip a Fusion monster. Oh, so they are playing the Neo Boys Ultimate as well. Again, we saw their deck list earlier, I just don't remember it. And then Ultimate Fusion is going to make the Tyrant Dragon here. Oh, they're doing the Sage discard F in order to trigger the Maiden White. I was like, wait, they're discarding Sage? You can do that? Yeah, I forgot for a second that you could do that. Bringing back the Sage and then turning the Maiden into Blue Eyes Jet Dragon. They're summoning a second Tyrant Dragon? That cannot be necessary, right? But then they passed. I'm trying to figure out why they passed without attacking. Did they not want to... Well, even if they didn't want to run over Mirror Jade, why would you not battle over other stuff? Maybe they didn't want to give us a fusion monster? You can still battle over Spriggan's Kit here, right? It's not like they played an Well, SP Little Knight only stops direct attacks. There's got to be something they played that says they can't attack for some reason. Was it Ultimate Fusion? No. Wouldn't have been Wishes, right? That doesn't have an attack restriction on it. No, that doesn't have a restriction. That's interesting. I wonder why they didn't battle there. Oh well, okay. Turning Albalatus to attack mode. I'm sure somebody in the comments can tell me for sure. Because usually, whenever I get like, oh, why would this have happened? It's usually some restriction or effect that I missed. Wouldn't be Mausoleum. Wouldn't be Jet Dragon, would it? Anyway, we still get to run their Mirror Jade into, or our Mirror Jade rather, into their board, which will end up blowing it up. During the end phase, of course. Tyrant Dragon gets to set the Majesty, which is a little unfortunate, but... Alright, Albalatus plus Kit going into the Vert Anaconda. Now they're going to Veiler the Vert Anaconda before it even activates, which is a little bit of an odd decision. I don't know why they wouldn't want us to pay 2,000 life points first, but sure, that's completely fine. Alright, main phase 3, we're going to set the Branded Banishment, add back Branded and High Spirits, as well as Branded Fusion, and then pass back over to our opponent. They are top decking, looks like Ether Barrel here, normal summoning to set the Lordly Load, establishing the Primite Loop, which is not nearly as threatening with all of the Blue Eyes engine stuff in the graveyard already. Roar of the Blue-Eyed gets to bring back the Blue Eyes here, which means the Drill Beam is live. And so is our Rindbrum. We're going to use that here to try to bring back Albaz. They're chaining Majesty now, and we're going to respond with the Branded Banishment, to which they're responding with Drill Beam on the Branded Banishment. So if we can remove their Ether Barrel, we don't have to worry about Drill Beam loops anymore, and at that point we're at a pretty good spot in this duel. Yeah, I don't really understand the Majesty there, though, because, like... Yeah, they get to blow up the board. Like, you wanted to chain that to Albaz's effect. Maybe they thought they were doing it at the right time, but... They definitely did not, unfortunately for our opponent. We're going to get to summon Albion here. Albion F activating in order to banish Sarnir and the other Albion, the Branded Dragon, from our yard. Let's go into the Chaos Star Source Dragon. Chaos Star Source is going to pop True Light as well as the Mausoleum. Of course, once the True Light is gone, so will all of our opponent's monsters also be gone. And again, without Ether Barrel in play, our opponent cannot loop the Drill Beam. Their last card is that a second Synchro Rumble? That's kind of wild. That is a second Synchro Rumble, jeez. And there we go. Maiden's going to put back True Light, and Lordly Load can summon Blue Eyes again, but that's definitely a far cry from what our opponent's board looked like before. And as soon as we threaten another Branded Fusion, they're just going to go ahead and concede. So, there we go. I think that game pretty well demonstrated, like, just what makes Branded so good. It's not like the explosiveness to OTK a lot of the time, although Branded can definitely do that. It's more often going to be about just this grind game. I very much consider Branded to be more of a control deck, and I think this game was a pretty good demonstration of that. Also, Albalatus absolutely came in clutch here, letting us break what seemed to be an unbreakable board. Good stuff. Thank you very much, Flat Toast. But of course, we still have a couple more to check out. Let's go into the next one. Okay, our next game comes to us from Trey. Trey is going to be playing Tenpai, which is a deck I didn't even really think about it until just now, but I haven't covered this deck in quite some time. A lot of the reason I haven't covered this deck recently is not wanting to craft a Blaster or a second Gold Sark. I know they're not necessary for Tenpai, but I do think they are quite good, so... Alright, looks like Trey's on Super Poly, and also, what is this? Ancient Flamvell Deity. Level 7 Synchro, Fire Tuner, one or more non-tuner Pyro monsters. This card is Synchro summoned to banish cards from your opponent's graveyard up to the number of cards in their hand. Interesting, so we're attacking some graveyard hate in here as well, in the form of Ancient Flamvell Deity. I wonder, Trey, definitely let me know if that's come up for you, because that's a very interesting tech there. We got the triple tax, we got the droplets, we got Dominus Impulse. Looking like a very, very solid Tenpai build here. And our opponent is going to be playing Branded. Fairly standard looking Branded list, all things considered, but maybe not etude of the Branded necessarily, but yeah, alright. Let's go ahead and check this game out. Yeah, like I said, it's been quite some time since I've played Tenpai myself. Again, mostly not due to not wanting to craft a couple of URs. I'll be honest, that is also kind of what's stopping me from playing Branded. You know, I kind of need a couple more URs to craft, and I'm just like, eh. I'd rather just build a new deck, have a new toy to play with, but... Alright, no surprise that we're going second here, given the deck that we're playing. Opponent's going to lead with Lubellion, dump to add Magnum Hut, and then Grass to dump a bunch of cards from their deck. I guess they really wanted that Magnum Hut, and we're willing to give up one of the mills off Grass to get it there. They're going to go for the Banishing Mercurier off Magnum Hut, as well as using Retribution to add back... Was that Branded Banishment? Or Beast, okay. Yeah, I don't know why... Our opponent's playing Beast and Etude. Etude of the Branded seems really weird to play given that they're not on any Synchro monsters, but I guess it has other effects. I just don't remember what they are off the top of my head. Okay, Magnum Hut. Banishing the Mercurier gets to add the Springin's Kit. Albion effect monster is going to dump itself to, or activates the effect to dump into the Retribution. Lubellion coming out here, it's going to place the Branded Lost. Normal summon Springin's Kit to add back the Branded Fusion that is in the graveyard, as well as putting back a card from the hand. And here comes the Branded Fusion that's going to fuse Albaz with the Golden Sword Soul for Albion. Albion, the Branded Dragon, coming down here and activating its effect. Of course, Branded Lost means we can't imperm the Albion here. It looks like Trey might be saving the imperm for his turn, which is actually pretty smart. Using it to stop, using it as like a board breaker instead of a disruption hand trap. Okay, we are going to use it against the Lubellion here. That also works out very well, given that this will stop them from getting the Mirror Jade, which we would probably just imperm anyway. Very, very patient with that imperm, Trey, which is very, very good. Yeah, a lot of people, of course, will tend to shotgun hand traps as quickly as they can, but the best general practice is to wait. Yeah, by fusing with the Lubellion, its effect still gets to resolve because it's no longer on the field, meaning they still get their Mirror Jade and they have the Titaniclad out now as well. Setting 2 cards for passing, in face Magnum Hut can add back True Swarm from graveyard to hand. Going into our turn, the only thing that's apparently threatening on board right now is the Mirror Jade. There are the back rows, but we're about to take care of those right here. Not really sure why our opponent's chaining Mirror Jade's effect here. It seems a little bit odd to me, but there might be a reason I'm not quite aware of. Going into the normal summon Pydra here, we're going to set the field spell, Sangen Kaiman, which you get to flip up here, and we'll activate the effect, adding Genroku, and then sending the Shundra, because of course we already do have the Fadra as well. Got a special Genroku and now sync for 7. It's going to let us summon the Bident Dragon. Bident F, going to revive the Genroku. Genroku F gets to activate, sending itself in order special another Fadra from deck. Oh yeah, Genroku only summons from deck, not hand or deck, so if we didn't have another Fadra in deck, we might not have been able to do that, but we're all good. And yeah, at this point, we're looking pretty solid. We can just ram our stuff into the Lubellion to get some extra attacks in. Always important to do that for Tenpai to make sure you get enough damage. We can turn the Lubellion into attack mode. Now, our opponent does still have quite a few... Oh, okay, that's how we're going to do it. I was wondering how we were going to OTK here, just because our opponent has so many high attack monsters in play that, like... Because even if we had gone for the Trident Dragon to pop this, that still would have been lethal, right? Because even 6k over 37 plus 25 is, that would have been 35 plus 23 is 6,800, which, yeah, would not have been enough for lethal right there. So we're going to make use of the Droplet here, as well as the Bident Dragon's effect here. I guess we would have had the Bident revive. Would that have been enough? I think it would have, actually. Well, no, because the Bident can't attack because we need to use it to make the Trident Dragon. But by reviving, by having their monsters attack, then we have enough for lethal. Yeah, because we can't attack with Bident until their stuff's been halved. Or until, yeah, we can't attack with Bident there because their stuff was too strong, and then we needed the Trident Dragon to actually be able to OTK. So, no attacks with Bident there, but we were still able to use that droplet to come out on top and get that dub. That was sick. That was cool because I didn't even realize we didn't have lethal until it would have been too late by the time I realized it. You know, I'm always on just like go, go, go mentality when it comes to making plays. So I think, yeah, by the time I realized it, we would have been kind of SOL there. But that was a good game there, Trey. Thank you so much for sharing that with us so we could check it out there. We got one more we're going to finish off with. Let's go into our last duel for today's video. And our final duel comes to us from Money, aka Simply Saturday on the Discord, who is playing quite the brew. This is 60 card Fiend Smith Unchained, also featuring a musket engine. Definitely quite the pile you've cooked up here. To see the actual literal list, I'm quite eager to see it. We got Aerial Eaters, we got the DD package with the Deus Machinax, which has an animation now. This is definitely, like, this is Fiend pile incarnate. We've seen Dragon pile, Warrior pile, of course, exists with Isolde, and this is definitely what I would call Fiend pile here. And it looks like our opponent is going to be playing Centurion. Fairly standard looking build, even with the deck lockdown and anti-spell fragrance. Brutal, but let's see how we do. Yet another going second game. All by sheer coincidence, I didn't even plan that. All the games we're featuring this week are all going second duels, so that's really cool. Okay, so no hand traps. Kind of to be expected when you're playing a 60 card deck, but of course, the benefit to not only opening no hand traps, but also playing a 60 card deck is that you ideally have so much engine that you can just push through whatever your opponent puts out and you don't even need the hand traps. Alright, they're doing just a bunch of pretty standard Centurion stuff here. Making the Gargoyle, lowering it to 4, sinking for 8, making the Primera Primus, going to search the Emblema Oath. Gargoyle gets to add itself back. That whole fun song and dance there. Alright, there's the Oath. That's going to place Atri from deck. Atri F gets the special itself, and then draw a card. Now they're going to sink for 12. Which is going to be Auxilia. Auxilia F adding the Wake Up Centurion. Which is going to summon a token. And then now they send the Phalanx, right? Yep, and then bring back the Primera Primus, and that's how they make the other another 12, which is going to be Crimson Dragon. I haven't played Centurion. I've only played Centurion like once since all the new support came out, so I'm mostly talking out the combo line to be like, I remember this, right? Like, I know how to do this, right? Okay, so Crimson Dragon's going to make Blazar and then also add Synchro Rumble. Because I'm pretty sure we can end on Legacia as well, right? Rumble for the Primera Primus, and then we're going to summon Magnum Hut here. Banishing the Primera. Then sacking for Lubellion. Oh, we could make a rank 8 here too, or they could rather. Potentially. Nope, they're just going to leave all their stuff on the field. And then, of course, the Auxilia places Primera from the Spell Trap. So they're just going to make Legacia during our turn. Alright, going for that Max C right off the bat. Opponent's going to chain with the Ash Blossom. Also, of course, right on time Max C. I know I don't normally condone draw phase Max C, but, you know, Centurion obviously is going to be a place where it's not nearly as bad going into your turn, too, because, well, you know they're going to special. The same can be said for other decks like Branded. Any deck where you're going second and you know your opponent's gonna special summon during your turn, draw phase Max C isn't the worst. Then you don't get punished nearly as often for doing it at a time like that. All right, so as we're going Engraver for tracks, they're setting up their synchro plays here, making Crimson Dragon yet again in order to make. Is this gonna be like another Blazar or a Supernova maybe? Yeah, okay, it's second Blazar Dragon, because they used the first one to negate our call by on their Ash, so they didn't get Max Seed. Alright, going to do the Vice King Requiem, special summoning that off the contract. They're going for the Druiswarm here, banishing Engraver, as well as the Magnum Hut summon off the Branded Regained there. Branded Regained is also going to draw them a card. Here's the Deus Machina X. I thought for a split second, I was like, wait, we're not making a Typhoon here, are we? No, this is Deus Machina X. And our opponent seems very, very trigger happy with their disruptions. They're literally using everything at the first opportunity they get, negating our summon of the Deus Machina X right away. We get to use the tracks to search for Magical Musket Starfire, which links into Max. So we're just going full musket plays into our opponent's Centurion board now that they've used pretty much all of their disruption here. And the muskets are, of course, light fiends, meaning that they can each go into Requiem. So our Fiendsmith engine is back online. That's what I mean where our opponent just pulled the trigger way too quickly. That Bestial stuff did, banishing the Engraver, did literally nothing. And it's not even like, oh, it did nothing because of what, you know, we happen to have in our hand here. Our opponent saw us use Engraver to add Tract, and so they should have known that we could still do Fiendsmith stuff, even if they banished Engraver in that moment. Now we're using Sequence to make the Aerial Eater. Aerial Eater getting to dump the Sharvara. Sharvara F then getting to set Escape of the Unchained. Now we're going to link the Aerial Eater with the Fiendsmith Sequence, and that's going to let us go for the Unchained Soul Lord of Yama. Yama F getting to add the Aruha from deck to hand, and Aruha gets to special itself by popping that face down Escape. Escape will then special Unchained Soul of Disaster from our deck. Then making a link 3 here, it's going to be the Unchained Soul of Anguish, which of course lets us link with one of our opponent's monsters. We're going to link off their Lubellion in order to make the link for Unchained Abomination. Wow. We're going all in on this Fiend link pile here. Musket into Fiendsmith into Unchained plays. It's so cool. It's a bit of a shame. I feel like if Fiendsmith actually had a Fiend lock to its effects, we could have seen decks like this flourish a lot more, because there would be more of a reason to play a deck like this. But alas, so it goes. We're really just linking off their whole board here, aren't we? Into all of our different Unchained monsters. We got their Soul of Rage now. Moving to battle phase, we get to battle with all 3 Unchained Link monsters plus the Caesar. Our opponent's not even going to wait for that last attack before they concede. That was a very, very good game to end off on. Thank you, Money, aka Simply Saturday, as well as everybody else who submitted. Even if you didn't get featured, your submissions are still very, very important, because we could not do this series if people did not submit. So, and like I said, you know, this is one of my favorite series, if not just my favorite, that we do here on the channel. So thank you very much for supporting in that way. I really, really appreciate it. We're going to be ending off now by thanking some people who support via YouTube members and patrons. So let's go ahead and move to the outro. Hey everybody, Hexlex here. Thank you so very much for watching all the way to the very end of the video, which by the way is one of the best ways to support the channel. Speaking of supporting the channel, take a look at the names on screen. These are folks who have been so generous as to either join as a YouTube member or subscribe over on patreon.com/Hexlex to support. There's also perks for doing so. If you would like to see YouTube videos early, as well as some exclusive videos that get uploaded to YouTube, but for one reason or another I decide not to publish, definitely go ahead and hit that join button to see content early, as well as some exclusive content. If you're looking for more exclusive content, over on patreon.com, I upload exclusive videos that are not posted on YouTube just about every single day. Whether you choose to subscribe over on Patreon, join as a YouTube member, or simply continue to watch, your support is greatly appreciated. Thank you so very much. But for now, this is Hexlex. I am signing out, and I hope that you have a fantastic day.